All right, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the 182 News Podcast. This is your host, Poppin' Curbs. I appreciate you tuning in. This is going to be the very first time I try to do audio and video of 182 News of a brand new episode. People have been asking me for this. It's kind of interesting. When podcasts first came out, it was so that people didn't have to watch anything on the screen or on TV. And here we are in 2021, and people are asking for video, and a lot of people do stuff with YouTube and Twitch, all that good stuff. And folks have asked me, they've said, hey, we would totally watch it if you would put a video up of it. And I'm a man of the people. I will do whatever sounds fun, whatever sounds rad. And so we're going to try it. I did get up on the 182 News YouTube channel, which I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to. I did get up a previous interview. So that interview, the episode was called Mark's New Bass, and I interviewed my buddies Alan Corona and David Salis, who handmade and created this bass guitar for Mark. The episode's already out. You've probably already heard it. However, I did go back and put that interview up. So typically I have a video of these interviews I do. I feel like it helps the conversation if you can see each other, so I totally prefer to do video interviews. And typically I will ask the guest if they're okay with me using some sort of video clips in the form of teasers and such. Honestly, I just don't have time to do the video portion of it. I do this in my spare time, and just to get the audio out and the audio edited is a huge task, and to have to totally redo that and do it in video form is just a whole other world to deal with that I haven't been able to dive in. However, I do think it's rad to get videos up on the YouTube channel, and I'm trying my best to keep pushing out this content. I did get that video up, so if you're interested in watching an interview, please check it out on the YouTube channel. Let me know if you enjoy those, because again, this takes time, and if nobody's watching it, nobody cares. I'm not going to waste my time. But if you think it's rad, and if you think that's a different way to kind of take it in, and you enjoyed seeing our faces as we talk, please let me know. I always appreciate the feedback. You know, this is why I do this. I'm just trying to do cool shit for Blink fans. So your feedback means the world to me. I did get up the third and final, for now, Tom DeLonge Fender sticker strat video. So there were two up on my YouTube channel already. There was one called Recreating Tom DeLonge's famous sticker strat part 1 research. That was like an hour and a half where Davy Jones and I dug into a super, super deep dive into all of the research that went into, you know, just figuring out what stickers were on this guitar and where they all were. And I put out a second video that was kind of my journey. And so if you're interested in recreating that guitar, that's the one that will tell you the equipment you need, kind of the struggles I went through putting it together, and ultimately how I did put it together. And then the third one that just took forever for me to edit, I just got it up a couple weeks ago, and it's called Recreating Tom DeLonge Sticker Strat Part 2 Application. And what that one is the sticker placement. So that took forever. One night, Davey and I did a Zoom, and I had all the stickers. I had the guitar ready to go, and we had to one by one put them on there. And when you're recreating these replica guitars, you want it to be exact, and you want it to go exactly where he had it and meet up at the exact part on the guitar. And so that actually was, I think, a 3.5 hour conversation on Zoom, and I got that edited down to, I want to say 55 minutes, but it is a perfect how-to guide. So again, you're going to have to find the stickers, maybe recreate them on your own. But if you look at these videos that I've put up, you'll totally be able to see exactly which stickers, which bands, exactly where they go. And that last YouTube video I got up is the exact placement that you will need. So literally my hope is that you, or, you know, somebody in 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, anybody who wants to recreate this guitar can pop this on YouTube and go right along with me and make this guitar exactly how Tom had it, which is how I did mine. So definitely check those out. And again, I'm going to try to get up some video portions of this. I think it's interesting. I'm down to do stuff on YouTube. I'm down to do stuff on Twitch. I just love interacting with you all and talking about Blink and shooting the shit. So let's have fun with it. Today, it's Father's Day. And I started my day getting donuts with my son. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Hope everybody had a great day. Really is one of the best things in the world. I mean, it's tough. Moms know this. Babies are hard, super hard. I only have one kid. I have a 2-year-old, and I'll tell you what, my hands are full. So for Father's Day today, I resituated my little office here. I'm fighting with lights. I'm trying to figure this out if I'm going to do streams, if I'm going to do, live video recordings of this. I need a decent lighting setup and all this stuff. And I tell you what, it's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. I'm still fighting shadows. I'm still fighting glares, but I'm doing my best. I feel like I look decent right here on camera. By the way, for those of you who are tuned in on video, you can see the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket hoodie. This is one of the ones I talked about on the last episode, Mr. T-shirt, doing the Lord's work. As always, released this, it's kind of a hand wash, limited to 182 of these hoodies. So shout out to the other 181 of you rocking these. I see you. And it's super comfortable. I did wash mine. So if you're hesitant about, washing it, I always wash all my new clothes that come in right away. I can't wear them just straight out of the package. I have to wash them or they just feel like itchy and stiff. And so a lot of people I've already seen are worried about, this is a collectible, I don't want to wash it, or I'm worried about, the paint dye running out or whatever. But I washed it, I even dried it, and it still holds, it still looks the same. So super comfy, hope you got that. The t-shirt came in, rad, and the little tag came in, which is right behind me, hanging right over here. I'm trying to hide all these little Easter eggs on video. So right over here, we've got a little Mr. T-shirt bunny. We've got a bobblehead. And of course, you can see some of the rad blink shit behind me. So today, on today's episode, what I want to get into is big things happening in Angels and Airwaves land for sure. So the last episode, we took a dive into Blink. We took a deep dive into Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, my favorite album of all time, for the 20th anniversary. That was kind of an impromptu episode, and hope you enjoyed that one. Today, we've got some cool shit to talk about with Angels and Airwaves. So last week, on their social media, they announced that everybody should go check out projectdreamland.org. And you go there, there's kind of this little intro video, and during that, there's certain little sections there that said reveal 6:15 and arrive 9:24. So right away, this was a couple days prior to June 15th, people are starting to put two and two together that, all right, maybe something's coming on the 15th. That's rad. Let's look forward to that. Now, to back up just a tad, the Empire Club, which I had mentioned previously, that's Angels and Airwaves, kind of their little Mod Life 2.0, people are calling it, where you can pay annually. There's different tiers you can subscribe to, and you unlock different stuff. There's cool behind the scenes stuff. They've done live Q&As with Tom. Matt Rabano's been on there. They've got some cool behind the scenes videos they've done with David Kennedy. We've gotten songs early. And so right away, I go and check that. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on here, what's happening. And it was true. We were going to get an announcement on June 15th, which was going to be a Tuesday. And for the Empire Club, it was telling us that the night prior, so this was Monday night, the 14th, that we could tune in for some sort of video. And we didn't know what this was going to be. It feels like we just got Euphoria, because we did, which I still love that song. Absolute banger that I just listened to probably 20 times this weekend when I was doing yard work. And we weren't totally sure what this was going to be. So if the general public was going to get this info on Tuesday, the Empire Club had a bit of a sneak peek Monday night. And so in my head, I was thinking, okay, is this another song? This seems a little early for another song, but totally down with it. Is this a listening party that maybe we'll get clips of a song or clips of the album, or who knows what the fuck this is going to be? We have no idea. And I was looking forward to it. Now, I should mention something that dropped on there that was totally worth my money this month, is the Rebel Girl demo. So I don't know if anybody has heard that or seen that. Those of you in the club, I'm sure, have. But one of the rad behind the scene things that we got about a week and a half ago was the Rebel Girl demo, and it's a little bit rawer. Some of the words are a little bit different. I think they chose the right one to release, but I love just seeing that creative process and kind of the behind the scenes of how this song came to life. So that was a neat perk. And then as soon as that went away, excuse me, on Sunday, we were waiting for this next, what they call a transmission, which ended up having a countdown to Monday night. So to circle back around, this is what I'm referring to in regards to this info we were going to get a little bit early. So that night happens, and what we ended up getting was a brand new song. Just came out of nowhere. We didn't know when this was coming. We had no clue what song we were going to get, but we got a new song called Restless Souls. I'm going to get into that later. I really enjoy it. I think it is just a classic Angels and Airwaves sound. I think it's a bit of a throwback, which Tom came out and said it is. That was their intent. And so that was a super pleasant surprise. Didn't know that was coming. Really wasn't sure what we were going to get at that time. The next morning comes, and this is where, because of going to Project Dreamland and seeing that it said Reveal 6:15, we knew something was coming. And it said to be logged in on the Empire Club at 9 a.m. So I'm logged in, stoked. I was sick. Just like, oh my gosh, if tickets go on sale, I've got to get some of these. And lo and behold, what ended up happening was a lot of shit. We got the album announcement officially. We got a tour announcement. We got an overseas tour announcement. We got that new song that everybody got on Tuesday. You know, we had it a little bit early. And we also had pre-orders for the new album. So hell of a Tuesday in Angels and Airwaves land for sure. So, I mean, I was super stoked. This really kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously, we've all been looking forward to this album for a long time. I've been trying to keep everybody up to date with where we are on this. We've talked about how, due to COVID, they got pushed back a year. Tom ended up directing and filming a movie, Monsters of California, during the COVID year, as well as revisiting these songs. And we know this. I've brought this up before when I interviewed their tour manager, Jeff. We talked about this at length, where he had heard songs and that they thought were ready. And because of this time off, they decided to revisit some of these, and they're just so much better. And they decided, fuck it, let's do this with a lot of these. Why would we just do this on one? And so what ended up happening is they ended up revisiting these songs, and now the record is ready. And finally, it's been 3 years really that this new kind of album cycle has came together with, the launch of that tour they did in 2019 and Rebel Girl and Kiss and Tell, and this is where we are. And so it's been a long time coming. I feel like this is the perfect time to do it. And, everybody is, we're all starting to get kind of COVID fatigue of the mask and staying inside, and things are opening up, and even sports venues and everything are starting to get to full capacity. I just bought tickets to my first show a couple weeks ago. I'm hitting up All Time Low in St. Louis, I think, in August. So, people are going to be stoked to go to these concerts, to get outside. I cannot wait to be in a pit and in a room with hopefully a lot of you all, or just fans, and just vibe to some fucking music that just means so much to us. And so I really feel like this stuff is going to be worth the wait. And, we already had a couple shows. They announced that they were going to be playing at Lollapalooza in the July, I believe. And then we had an LA date and a New York date, but we ended up getting several more. There's a full-blown 6-week tour in there where they're hitting a lot of different places in there. So let's talk about the tour a little bit. As I just mentioned, they're kicking off in July with a show for Lollapalooza. I can't remember which night they said they were playing on. They mentioned it, and I apologize, but I can't remember what it was. They had New York and LA already announced, so we knew that. I have friends who are going to those. That's going to be dope. And this new announcement that just came out kicks off September 29th in Riverside, California, and then it ends November 7th at Soma. So if you've listened to the pod or you've listened to anything about Blink history, it's really dope that they're ending at Soma, beginning of November. That's the stretch of the tour. It's kind of a 6-week tour in there. It's pretty dope. But ending at Soma is pretty special. If you've listened to, especially like the Davy Jones podcast and my interview with Rob Perlman, Soma was Blink's dream back in the day. When they were growing up and building the band, all they ever dreamed of was headlining at Soma, playing main stage at Soma. Now, this isn't the same Soma stage and location. I believe this is Soma number 3. Blink played at Soma 1 and 2. But this is a big deal, so it's cool. I would love to go to that show. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out there. I've been fucking sick again. I mentioned on the last podcast, but I got sick again, and I swear to God, the past 10 years, I think I missed one day of work being sick from, I don't know, 2010 to 2020. The past 5 months, I feel like I've missed 20 days. I've been sick left and right. And so I just got over some stupid ass virus called RSV, I think. Kid in daycare got it. We all got it. It was gnarly. Knocked me right on my ass. I was in bed, I think, for 3 or 4 days straight, fever, off work for 6 days. So I don't have any PTO days to burn. I certainly don't have enough days to plan like a California trip or something like that. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to make those. But I am going to the show in Nashville. So when I saw the tour dates get announced, and the Empire Club had early access to buy these tickets right away. And cool thing about Angels is they're typically, smaller venues. So that means the tickets are a lot cheaper. So, I'm used to general admission at the Pit for Blink. That can run you $150. So it's refreshing and nice to have like a $30 show here and there, $40 show. But right away, I talked to my buddy and my wife was even wanting to go to an Angels show. And I was like, all right, if they hit the Midwest pretty hard, I'm going to go to 2 or 3 shows just because, I can't wait to hear live music. And especially if it's Blink or Angels or like Alkaline Trio, I'm there if it's within basically 5 hours. So one of the things I was super interested to see right away was just going to be the tour locations. And, unfortunately, they're not hitting too many places in the Midwest. And so really there was one show in Newport, Kentucky that was like 5.5 hours away. And I'm actually out of town on that date, so I couldn't make that. But they are hitting Nashville at the Marathon Music Works, I believe is the name of venue. I saw Alkaline Trio there a couple years ago. It's a really rad small venue. So I did get tickets to that. Thankfully it worked out. I'm going to be getting back in town like that day. And so I'll be going to that one. And so for those of you who feel like they're not hitting a lot of your cities or they're missing out, there's reason behind this. A lot of bands are trying to tour right now. And so if you were lucky, then the stuff that you had booked a year and a half ago, you kind of still had on the books. I think that kind of worked in their favor maybe on some of these shows, but if not, you're stuck trying to build a tour at the same time as, I don't know, every fucking artist ever who has been waiting for a year and a half to do their job and be able to do their job and get out there and do what they love and entertain people. So it's really tough and competitive to find venues. And that's part of the reason why you might not see a lot of these bands as close to you as you would hope. Maybe not on nights you would hope or whatever. But regardless, live music is certainly getting ready to be back. Most of the bands I follow, it seems like August is when everything's starting to kick back off. So we're getting there. I can't believe that it's the middle of fucking June. I can't believe it's 2021. I don't even know how old I am. I don't even know what day it is. But here we are. It's all right. We're getting ready to get more music. We're getting ready to get live music. So let's just fucking enjoy it. It's going to be dope. Along with the launch of the tickets on the Empire Club were different VIP packages. So I know people are always interested in these. I'm always interested in these for artists and bands I love and support. Totally down to pay extra for early access or sound checks, hopefully meet and greets, shit like that. There were two different tiers. There was just a normal VIP tier that I think got you early access, as well as some merch. And then the highest tier was a sound check party. Now, I'm not sure on the details in regards to whether or not you're going to be able to, snap a picture or get an autograph or meet and greet type shit. Honestly, I think a lot of bands are still trying to figure out, with coming off of COVID, what's safe. And, honestly, if it was me, even fully vaccinated and, whatever they, even if there's social distancing or whatever, I don't think I would want to shake 400 hands in a row, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see, just like you all, I hope to, snap a picture, get an autograph, something like that. But I think we need to be a little bit mindful with the bands and with the supporting staff and supporting bands. It still can be kind of dangerous out there, and everybody's trying to ease into this as safe and as they can, as safe as they can, and try to stay healthy when you're on the road. I mean, again, I've been sick like 5 fucking times at home. I couldn't imagine what it's going to be like when you get on the road touring all over out of a bus and, in and out of dinky little venues and such. So it's going to be a new world, but we will adjust to the new normal. But there is a sound check package available. I think it was $150 or whatever. It includes your ticket. That one includes your ticket. You get early access to sound check, which I've mentioned before. The Blink sound checks are like my favorite thing in the world. There's usually, 40 to 50 people there at most, and you're literally just chilling, watching the band warm up and jam, and usually they'll play some songs. And I hope I hope there's time and it's safe and everybody's cool enough to kind of at least say what up, wave, take some pictures. We'll see how it goes. The other announcement that they had, and the tickets that went on sale, were the overseas dates. So not only did they announce the U.S. dates, which again are going to kick off in September and in November, but they're already looking ahead to March 2022. So in March 2022, they're kicking off a bit of a European tour overseas. There's some UK dates in there. I saw there's a date in France. And so for those of you who haven't seen Tom over there in a long time, I mean, I can't remember the last time he was over there, because I don't know if they were over there with Blink in 2014. I don't know. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute since Tom's been over there. So I'm stoked for all of you over there. I know I've got a lot of listeners overseas. And so I'm stoked for you all to get a chance to see Tom and Angels. I know you guys are huge Blink fans and huge Angels fans and supporters, so that's rad. I did, in fact, I don't know if you all saw the graphic I put up the other day. So, by the way, if you didn't hear on the last episode, I launched dedicated social media for the podcast. So on Twitter, it's at 182 News. And on Instagram, it is at 182 News Pod. And that's where I just want to be able to kind of promote it as I wish and do fun stuff. And I don't necessarily want it tied in with like the Blink Online stuff. So I thought it would be best. The podcast is kind of growing to the point of where I thought dedicated social media would be beneficial. And hopefully we can do some fun stuff there. But the other day, I was looking at the stats for the first time, because honestly, I'm just blown away by the amount of listeners and the amount of support that I continue to get from you all. And it just means so much to me. And, looking back, it's been, I think, a year and a half since I launched the pod. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue if anybody would listen. And the fact that anybody listens, much less looks forward to it, reaches out to me, thanking me for it, shit like that. A dude the other day just hit me up and just thanked me so much for the podcast and was like, dude, I'm going to send you beer from London. And he was like, I'm sorry if that's creepy. And I'm like, dude, that's not creepy. That's fucking rad, dude. Please send me, like, is it going to be okay to drink? Because I want to drink it. So I just, again, my heartfelt thank you, to all of you who listen. I think you all know by now that, I'm just a normal Blink fan, just like you all, who's just trying to do cool shit. And the fact that, people in the band even know what it is, and, Mark knows what it is, Tom knows what it is, Travis knows what it is. It's just already to a level that I didn't even think was possible to begin with. So I really appreciate the support, and hopefully ongoing support. And let's just keep continuing it and having fun with it. And as long as it's fun and as long as you all are enjoying it, I'm going to try to keep doing it. But my point with that was I was looking at the listener locations the other day, and 182 News has been played in 82 countries, which is crazy. I didn't even know there were 82 countries. I couldn't even name like 10. And then 1,903 cities, which is just insane. And then what really blew my mind is I looked at the top 3 listener locations, and the first one was Blackheath, England. The second one was LA. And then the third one was Sydney, Australia. So the top 3 listener locations, download locations, are just all over the world, which just blows my mind. So huge shout out to you all. I know it's always so rad to me how, big of Blink fans there are all over the world, and especially like in Australia and England. You guys just love Blink, and it's just so fucking rad. And so I appreciate you too. So yeah, stoked for you all to get a chance to see them. People have asked Tom if there are going to be more dates, and he said that's the plan. They want to travel all over, spread this message and play these shows all over. So it's going to be interesting to see. But regardless, a big, big W in my book, just to get Angels announcements and shows and everything just on the books at this point, because we haven't had shit for a year and a half at this point, and I know you all are just as stoked about it as I am, so can't wait for that. Let's talk about the album real quick. So the album was announced. It's called Lifeforms, and Tom gave a bit of a deep description of the title, and I can't remember exactly what all he was mentioning, but it was something along the lines of how, us as living beings and the world around us and this planet we live on, there's just so many different layers and levels to this thing we call life, and what makes everything what it is. And so all of that was kind of inspired behind this piece, and the title. And so it's called Lifeforms. The front cover was revealed. I really like the whole art direction on this rollout is fucking rad. I mean, all the cool shit they're doing with Rise Records with, they sent out cassette tapes with hidden messages, and they're, revealing this stuff almost subliminally through rad videos on like brand new websites that are popping up and shit. Like, it's really dope. The marketing and everything behind this is just really, really rad. And so we got the album cover, which was dope, and we found out that it was going to be 10 songs. So we've kind of known that for a while. Like anybody, I hope that there's 15, 20 songs on any new album of artists I like, but we knew there was going to be 10. And I think what we'll find is these are going to be the songs that Tom has poured his heart and soul into, and these are going to be the 10 best songs. He mentioned that he had 2 or 3 others that were close, because at one point we were thinking there was going to be 12 or 13 songs. And so I think somebody asked him about that, and he said there were 2 or 3 that were almost finished, but he didn't want to rush them. And I think the hope is, going back when this album was first announced in that 2019 tour is when we first started looking for this. The idea at the time, and I've talked about this, was they were going to record the first half of the album. Tom was going to direct this movie, which we found out was Monsters of California. And then they were going to finish the album, and it was going to be released alongside this movie. That was the plan this whole time. And I think I mentioned at one point, I hope that they don't necessarily stick to that 100% if it's going to cause delays. And I think maybe that's what ended up happening, is if they were going to release this alongside the album or as some sort of soundtrack to the album, we might not get this for a while. So I'm happy. I think the album is going to be able to stand on its own. And then what I think the hope is and the goal is to eventually maybe release some sort of deluxe version or something alongside the movie whenever that comes out. Now, I should mention that, one, that movie is done. And for two, Tom is scoring that movie as we speak. In fact, I think he said the other day he is in the third act of scoring. So that's when you're creating the music for the movie, which would be interesting. I was playing a video game the other day, and some really groovy bass guitar kicked in. And I was thinking, that would be a rad fucking job. Like, how do you get into that to begin with? But two, you have to be extremely versatile if you're into that type of thing, and if you're some sort of composer or scorer. I don't even know what their official title is. I'm gonna be a scorer. I want that job. But this game, I was blowing zombies' fucking heads off, and some dude was just coming in with a groovy bass, just doom 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 doom, and I was thinking, man, how rad would that be to have that job where you just sit there and, I don't know, you maybe watch these video game developers, develop this scene, or watch people play this game, and you have to be inspired and translate that into music that not only just you know how to play and you come up with and sounds dope, but it's got to go along with this theme, which is just a really interesting thing. I need to challenge myself one of these days. I'm just going to turn on a zombie game, and maybe I'll turn on Twitch and I'll watch somebody just play a game, and then just pick up a guitar or a bass guitar and try to play whatever your mind imagines to go along with that. That's a really interesting thing. So I could see from an artist's perspective how that would be enticing and fun and rad. And obviously, Tom being the creative he is, that sounds like a really fun thing to do, especially when you created the movie and directed the movie. So that's going to be badass. I'm really looking forward to that. I know he's super proud of that and has been working really, really hard at that. So the point there is, I do think there's going to be some sort of deluxe edition of this in the future. So maybe we'll get more songs. But for now, we're getting 10 songs. Now, when this Restless Souls came out, and we were able to download it, you could see the track list like on Apple Music. And so, in fact, if you're watching this on my Apple Music, it's right here, sort of. It's hard to see because of my amazing lighting setup. But I'm going to read through the track list right here because it's here and it's available, and we at least know the song titles. So the first song, and this is interesting, is Time Bomb. Now, Time Bomb, I thought we were going to get about 3 songs ago. Time Bomb is the documentary that Peter McKinnon is making, and I think he's still working on this. It's definitely still in the works. It's not canned or anything. But he went out on the road with Angels, and he was kind of filming their comeback and all this stuff. And they ended up putting out a trailer, and I believe it was December 2019 that they released this trailer to this Angels Airwaves documentary that Peter McKinnon put together. And the song that plays during that, and this will be interesting to go back and see if it has changed since then, is Time Bomb. And at the time, we thought we were going to be getting that within like months. Well, then what ended up happening is, COVID hit, and then the rest is history. So the next song we ended up getting actually was All That's Left Is Love, which, curious enough, is not even on this album. So we have Time Bomb. The second song is Euphoria. So as I mentioned, Euphoria just rips. I've been playing this on guitar. I've been listening to it over and over. I think it just has everything I want to hear out of Angels and Airwaves in 2021. It's just got so much cool shit going on in there with some harmonies, and it's got the space sounds, but it's also just that gnarly guitar going on. I'm stoked that we got that one. Tom even just said the other day that they were debating on whether or not that was the right one to release, and I think it is. I think it was a total W all around. I think people really dig it, and I think it's a great introduction to this era. Number 3, Spellbound. We don't know anything about that one. Number 4 is No More Guns. I read somewhere that this is about the gun violence and the shootings that have been happening. So that's going to be interesting to see, especially when you think about Blink had that with, I think Black Rain to some extent was about that. And then Heaven, of course, was about, too many fucking shootings happening in the United States and all over the world, but definitely here. 5, Losing My Mind. We don't know anything about that. I like the songs that have the little E on here for explicit. That means Tom's cussing. And as you know, I like my Blink guys with cuss words. 6 is Automatic. I feel like I heard a clip of this somewhere, a very brief clip. I don't know if it was officially released or snuck out somewhere, but that sounded, the little bit I heard sounded like kind of some older Angels and Airwaves stuff. Restless Souls, that's the one. I'll get into that here at the end, but that's the one that dropped on that Tuesday along with all of these announcements. Rebel Girl, which obviously we know that kicked off this entire new era of Angels and Airwaves. And number 9 is A Fire in a Nameless Town. It's kind of an interesting title. And then the closer, interestingly enough, is Kiss and Tell. So that's pretty crazy that we know the closer, to be honest, but Kiss and Tell is just such a fucking banger. And I can't remember on the last episode or the last episode where I was talking about Angels, but I think I ranked my top 4 at that time. And I think Kiss and Tell at the time was rated higher than Euphoria. And I think that's changed. I think Euphoria is now my number 1. I really do. It just rips. So I don't know, but it's cool. We've got the track list out. We know we've got 10 songs. We know it's dropping on September 24th, which is rad. And even cooler than that is we got pre-sales on that day, baby. So we got some cool shit. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see behind me, I've got cool shit, collectibles. I'm all about, random cool items, and especially like cool autographed items and Blink and Angels memorabilia and stuff like that. And so I was so stoked to see that when the pre-orders went live, they had signed copies available of the album at To the Stars. And what was really cool is they were normal, regular price. It was $30 for signed, $30 for unsigned, which is really rare. So huge shout out to them for doing that. They totally could have charged more there, but I know the fans will definitely appreciate that. I know I do. And it's signed by all 4 members, which is really cool. So on a lot of the stuff that comes out of To the Stars, it's typically just signed by Tom because, Tom's there and it's probably easier to just get him to sign the stuff. But I know me, I'm particularly interested in full band signed items. That's one of the things that I collect in Blinkland is full band signed items, especially from that time period. I just think are so fucking cool. It's just a little timestamp, just boom, timestamp. So I was stoked to see that. I want to say there were 6 different signed vinyl, and I got them all. And as soon as I refreshed, there ended up being, I think there's 14 different presses of this album, which is crazy. So for the vinyl collectors out there, there are a lot of rad different splatters and spirals and swirls and every single one you can think of. There's quite a few retailer exclusives. So I think I saw one for Spotify. I saw one for Newberry. I saw one for Banquet Records. So, definitely hit up where you typically get your vinyl records from, and there's probably a rad exclusive vinyl. I think the most limited one, I can't remember the color, but the most limited one was out of 100, which is dope. And then another perk that the Empire Club got was a rad, I think it was pinkish, swirl exclusive to the Empire Club of a vinyl press of the album. So For the physical collectors out there, those who like the physical CDs and the vinyl and the collectibles, and they had new shirts and hoodies and everything you can think of, signed shit. It was just a really rad day in Angels and Airwaves land, and I hope you all got what you wanted, and I hope you were able to score, the pre-orders and the tickets and everything like that. And so, let me know where you're going. If any of you are going to the show in Nashville, I'll be there. Would love to say what up. And as the tour kicks off, we'll have some fun shit with the episodes, and we'll have hopefully some show reviews, and definitely have some cool shit when the album drops. I want to go through this stuff super deep, hoping to get some interviews with some of the dudes in the band, hopefully at some point, and we can kind of discuss the creation process and what all went into this. So exciting times in Angels and Airwaves land, no question. And the last thing I want to talk about today is going to be the single that dropped. I don't think it's a single as far as radio single, but the singular song that came out of Angels and Airwaves on that day. So, as I mentioned before, the night prior, we got Restless Souls. And the next day it was released everywhere. You could get it on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your stuff. No official live action music video, but there was a bit of it wasn't really like a lyric video. It was kind of a visualizer video, I think Tom called it, which was really cool. And so that's on YouTube if you want to check that out. But my thoughts on the song is right when it kicked off, I got Of Nightmares vibes. And I love Of Nightmares vibes. So I've mentioned this several times. It's an incredibly underrated EP. And it launched alongside the Poet Anderson stuff. And Poet Anderson, I've talked about it before. It's an idea that Tom came up with about when you go to sleep, you kind of wake up in this other world, and there's bad guys to fight, and it's almost like you're a superhero in this other world. And there's people coming after you and all this stuff. And it's just really interesting. And the artwork and the books and the comics and everything that go along with it really paint a deep and interesting world. And what was really cool about this, and this was probably one of the first times that he and Alon and Aaron sat down to almost score this, is they came up with this little EP called Of Nightmares. And it's a lot of instrumentals, but it's a lot of, shit you can vibe to, and just some really, really rad instrumentals that go through different tempos and different vibes, and it just changes and everything. And so if you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out. You can get it on vinyl, and I think you can still get the CD on To The Stars website. But when I first heard that intro, it's like, oh man, that's rad. That's almost like this dream world of just this Of Nightmares intro kind of kicking in. The verses kick in, and Tom's flowing. I mean, he's got the melody going on. He's sticking with it. I think it's rad. He's got a cool melody, a cool vocal delivery going on there. And then that chorus is really anthemic. And so it just kicks in, with the, close your eyes. And it's just one of those things where leading up to this album, Tom has talked about how Angels, they try to build this stuff up and just kind of release the emotion at certain parts. And he's talked about on these songs how, it's not necessarily verse, chorus, verse, we need guitar here, drums here. He talks about the mood. And I want people to feel this way at this point of the song. And, this is where we want to be emotionally at this point of the song. And so I think this is one of those songs that does a great job of that, of taking people on this emotional kind of journey or roller coaster, as you will, where it kind of builds you up and then it just soars. And that chorus really does soar. I love the way it ends, where when we feel like the world's caving in, we will never give in. And that's a really interesting line, for one. I've talked about this. I think in the last episode I've talked about this. It's interesting, I talked to a lot of people, especially coming out of this last year, who are sad and they're not in a good place. And, this past year for me was not good at all. For the first time in my life, I've felt pretty depressed, like lingering depressed and just not happy. And I've had to talk to people about it, and like all of you, we're stuck at home. Everybody's going stir crazy. I was really pissed at my job and going through shit there, and it's just been a tough year. And I think what's interesting about that line to me is when the world feels like it's caving in, and that's what's happening. You go through this stuff, and my wife and I talk about this, where just a couple of days ago we were talking about this. We're sick again, and we're both sick. It's one thing when one person's sick, we're both sick, and it's like, okay, we both hate our jobs. We're both sick. We've had multiple deaths in the family. Everybody's busting their ass, trying so hard to do, what we love or what you want to do. And it just doesn't, like, I feel like nothing's working out. And you get to that point, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And a lot of you are probably dealing with even crazier shit, and that's the thing, is at the end of the day, what keeps me kind of going and what keeps me, content about where I'm at is like, there's so many people who have it so much worse. And so when I get in these kind of headspaces, I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't complain about shit, and, I'm blessed, beyond belief, but you can't help it. And so what I like about that line, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, maybe too personal, but that's okay. When you feel like the world's caving in, you will never give in. And so it's one of those things where it's just an ongoing battle. And so when that happens and you get in that state of mind and you just feel like you can't win and the world's caving in on you, nothing's going right, you've had a terrible day, you've lost people, your job sucks, fight with significant others, your kids hate you, no matter what it is, you got to find a way to keep going. You can't, you can never give in. And so that line has kind of stuck out to me. It's kind of resonated with me. And I heard Tom say this the other day, and I can't remember if it was on one of the live streams or he did a podcast with a dude who does a bit of a space podcast. Can't remember the dude's name. And I listened to it, and Tom said something along the lines of, it's interesting, you always want to talk about the happiness in life, and people think that life is about, being happy. And the reality is a lot of life is dealing with and learning how to deal with and being sad and not being happy. And it's about the tough times and how you deal with those. And so I thought that was really interesting, especially coming from, Tom, who's super successful. But again, nobody is immune to this stuff. Everybody deals with all these different types of things. And so you can plug in whatever it is that you're dealing with. But I thought that was interesting where, you always want to talk about the happy times, but it might not be that way. Maybe it's the flip side of that. So, that was something I thought was really interesting about that song. And then I really enjoyed the bridge as well, where it's kind of hold on to me. And it kind of almost comes in like robotic out of the left side. It sounds fucking great. I got the AirPod. I got the AirPod Pros, and I upgraded from some Beats. I had some wireless Beats that started glitching out or something. So I needed some new headphones. And so I got the AirPod Pros, and I've been listening to this stuff, and I'm just blown away by how good these songs sound, especially with a lot of the lossless stuff now and the new Dolby formats they're releasing on Apple Music. It's just fucking insane. And so I can just close my eyes and listen to some of these Angels songs and even some of the Blink songs, and I'm hearing shit that I just had never even heard before. It's really dope. So Aaron, who mixes and engineers this stuff, just does an incredible job on these. It's awesome and groovy to hear Matt Rabano on there just killing it on bass, just grooving, and then Alon crushing it as always. So, I mean, as I said, to wrap this up today, I just wanted to talk about all of the exciting things happening in To the Stars and Angels and Airwaves land. Exciting times. We've got the new album. We've got cool shit going on in their fan club. We've got rad collectibles, we've got new vinyl, we've got new CDs, we've got a tour, we've got tour overseas. So rad times coming. Wanted to talk about it. Wanted to catch up on this. I'm getting ready to go out of town for a little bit, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to get the next pod out. So wanted to knock this out, and I appreciate you all hanging with me. And for those of you tuning in on YouTube, let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if it was worth watching, or if it's just terribly boring and you're sick of staring at my face. So that's going to do it all for me. For those of you who don't follow me, I am at Poppin' Curbs on Twitter and Instagram. Always love to hear from you. Always appreciate your feedback. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the pod. Rate, review, all that stuff. Again, that's what lets me know I'm doing the right thing. That's what lets me know to keep going and that it's worth the time and everything I'm doing to try and keep this thing going, try and keeping cool shit going. So again, follow at 182 News Pod on Instagram, 182 News on Twitter. And I hope everybody had a great Father's Day, had a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.